Honey? Is that you?
Yeah.
Are you coming to bed soon?
Yeah. I'll be right there.
Square feet, new carpets, drapes, new appliances, on an acre and a half corner.
Oh. Bucket.
What?
What? Bucket's nice.
You're right. It's too much money, isn't it?
I didn't say it was too much money. It's too much for me, maybe, but you and I have different needs. I mean, homes in good school districts are pricey. Or, I don't know, maybe you like living in a dungeon. Huh? After all, there are only so many bay windows and 200-year-old shade trees a person can tolerate. Sam, Jack can't get to you. He's locked away in a steel and concrete cell 150 feet beneath the Macon County Federal Penitentiary. It's over.
Chloe's gonna miss Angel.
So, her studio's, what, 5 minutes away? She's there when you need her. And you and Chloe need to be a family again, right? This looks perfect.
Maybe that's what I'm afraid of. It's been so long since Chloe and I have had any kind of a normal life. Perfect seems like a lot to ask for, you know?
Yeah.
Samantha Waters.
Sam, I need you, John, and Grace on a plane to Chicago.
What is it?
We've got another body.
All right.
We've been monitoring the sky, waiting for a kill. Laura was abducted from her apartment building, sexually assaulted, and dumped in the woods. Single .38 slug in the base of the skull.
Sounds a little militaristic.
Yeah, just better prepared. He strangled his first victim. Probably didn't plan on killing her, given that he's executed all the others.
You got all that just from looking at her?
No, I got all that from the file that you didn't read because you slept with the whole flight.
So what else did I sleep through?
The suspect kept his first victim only a few days. Since then, he's been keeping them longer and longer. They were all found the same way, all fully clothed and cleaned up, like they went for a walk in the woods and decided to take a nap.
When was the last attack? 6
months ago. I'm pulling you guys off everything else. This is our priority.
How long was Laura held?
She was the longest, 18 days.
And they say men can't make a commitment.
Where's Grace?
Flight was overbooked.
I thought you said you were getting us a plane.
I'm working on it, John.
Is that the boyfriend?
Chip Dowling. He ID'd the body.
Sweet car. 6-speed, twin turbocharged integrated bypass valves, horizontally opposed, fully aspirated. Too much car for him.
You interviewing the boyfriend or the car?
They're one and the same, right? We are what we drive. Want me to take a crack at Chip?
Yeah. Go easy on him. Hasn't hit him yet.
Yeah.
All of them were engaged except for the first victim who he didn't mean to kill. Maybe knew or maybe had to silence her. He's gone from rape to murder.
What about the rings? Wouldn't he keep the rings?
I don't think that his anger is towards the women. I think it's towards the men. You keep the ring. I got the girl. I want to see where she lives, Bailey.
I'll arrange for it. You meet up with Grace.
She's in remarkably good health. There's no dehydration, no malnutrition. She ate about an hour before she was killed. A seafood and vegetable casserole.
Casserole.
And not one of those microwave deals. Fresh scallops, baby carrots, and a light cream base. All to waste, though. She barely had time to digest it.
Something must have happened. He wasn't ready to kill her, but he had to. Any unusual trauma?
Well, there's some tearing and tissue damage. Got a little rough, but I've seen worse.
So the kill was neat and clean?
Yeah, no thrill in the kill.
He had to clean up his mess, erase it. Killing is something that he's learned to live with.
Oh, I did find something else. A small tear in the tympanic membranes, and there are bone structure anomalies in the small bones of the inner ear.
Wait, did she have a loss of hearing?
Yeah, it's hard to tell how much, but it would have been noticeable.
What about the other victims? Did they suffer any ear damage?
Well, I don't know. I have to go back over the protocol of the MEs. You might have missed it. It is such a shame, huh? Good-looking kid, had her whole life ahead of her. Just like my mom used to say, just as easy to fall in love with the rich man as it is to fall in love with the poor one.
I downloaded Laura's medical records, and except for tubes when she was a small child, I mean, there's no record of any ear trouble.
Chip, the boyfriend, didn't say anything about a hearing problem.
What about the boyfriends of the other victims? Any connection?
No, nothing. I mean, in fact, 2 of them live out of state. The only thing the victims' boyfriends seem to have in common is that they're all relatively successful.
Not Chipper.
Chipper.
His family made their money in retailing. He's just along for the ride.
It's the Porsche, isn't it?
Anyway, I can't see anybody going after his girlfriend for revenge.
Our subject is what? Unemployed, working part-time?
With hours that let him stalk, returning again and again.
Single?
Single white male, 24 to 28. Difficulty with relationships, socialization, dissociate from his peers, both male and female, yada yada, yada yada, yada yada.
Maybe he's an ex-con or a loser, living with his sister and aunt, his mother mooching his way back and forth across the country.
And the abductions have occurred at all hours of the day and night. I mean, that's consistent with being out of work or working odd, flexible hours.
No, but this guy is too organized. He would be able to fit into society. He could be self-employed, freelance. He could be a computer tech, designing software.
You know how squirrely those computer guys can be.
Maybe he's a salesman, you know, in and out of the area. That would account for the long gaps between abductions.
George, check the major carriers for business travelers. Guys in and out of O'Hare during the time of the abductions, reporting a day or 2 after their deaths.
But he wouldn't be successful. Success bothers him. He is probably around success, but it's just outside his reach.
No forced entry, middle of the day. She was grabbed in the basement. Laundry still in the machine.
Boyfriend spend much time here?
He told John they spent most of their time at his place.
She was serene. She had no indication that she was being stalked or that her life was in danger.
Chipper was right. This place isn't exactly what you'd call high security. He was on her all the time about moving out. Subject could have watched her for days, grabbed her on the way down with her clothes.
Doesn't someone have to ring the buzzer to get into this building?
Someone want to sign for this?
Buzzer's busted.
Hey, congratulations.
Run down this gift list. See if you can connect any of the bridal registries with the other victims. This guy could have been a delivery man for one of the stores where the other victims were registered.
Maybe he was left at the altar by a woman who looks like his victims. Feels like he lost out to a better man.
The killer didn't think they were better men. He hated these things, the cars, diamond rings, trappings of a better life. You can have them. I got the girl.
She wasn't hard of hearing.
Son of a bitch did this to her while she was captive.
The Forest Preserve takes up about 60 square miles. Most of it pretty rough terrain. A lot of places to hide back in there.
This is all industrial.
Industrial, light commercial, pockets of low-income housing. A lot of places around O'Hare, too. The airport's pretty noisy.
What kind of noise level are we talking about, Grace?
Well, to do the damage I saw, you'd be looking at prolonged exposure to a noise level above 130 decibels.
Sure, what, a rock concert, jet engines, explosions, what?
Or short, rapid bursts, like a jackhammer, a rivet gun, repeated gunfire.
What about this area here in the east?
That's all farmland.
No, it would be urban. And the airport would be too hard for him to control. This guy is careful. He's compulsive. Control is paramount. He wouldn't need seclusion if he could control his environment.
Ballistics smacks a slug from the latest victim to the others. It's a needle in a haystack trying to find an owner. 38's a popular weapon.
Excuse me, all the bodies were found in this area of the preserve?
Yes, ma'am.
Good group, Lieutenant. If you don't mind, I'm going to shave off 6 of your guys. I don't know the area very well, and there's a lot of names to check off.
Sure, whatever you need. Just let me know.
Thanks for your cooperation, Lieutenant. Anything?
Couple of maybes, maybe. Couple of guys worth dragging in for questions. Could lead to something.
I'll take all the somethings I can get.
I want to go back to where the last body was found.
Now, how'd I know that? What the hell's not making sense?
The attacks are too far apart. I mean, he's getting better. He's gaining confidence. You should see an acceleration of incidents, but his last attack was over 6 months ago.
Maybe they're tied to a stressor. What's he doing between attacks?
I don't know.
I don't know. Your salary and you give me I don't know.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I filled out an application for a house in Buckhead. You're going to be getting a call, so don't tell them my salary or they're going to charge me more for it, okay?
That's called fraud.
As opposed to theft, which is what I call what they're asking for rent.
Haven't seen that in a while.
What?
You smile.
What are you talking about? I smile all the time.
Not like that. That one you meant. It's got to be nice, you guys getting back to normal. A house, a yard, a little gardening.
Angel's threatening to buy me a hammock.
Well, you got to sleep somewhere after you mow the lawn. Chloe must be excited. You can't escape, Sam. Maybe Lucas escaping isn't the problem. You've got to get this guy out of your head, Sam.
And how do I do that, huh, Bailey? How do I get a man like Jack out of my head? A man who has spent his entire life committing unspeakable acts, all in my name, all for me.
No, not for you. For himself. For his own sick, depraved needs. And stop calling him Jack. His name is Donald Lucas. This thing is over.
No. No, it is not over. And whether I choose to take it on or not, the fact remains that everything that he did for me. He said that I would go to him. He said that I would go again and again. Because I had to know why.
This thing is over when you say it's over. Don't ever concede that to him.
He leaves the bodies out in the open. He doesn't bury them. Cleans them up, dresses them, and then he kills them to end their suffering.
Bang. End of nightmare.
Not for him. He can't end his suffering with theirs, and he knows that. He tries to. He does for a little while, but comes back. So what does he do? He takes another girl, and he keeps her.
Where does he keep her? Storage locker, trailer outside of town?
No, he would want them close, even if he hated them or loved them so much that he hated them. He's responsible for them. He's responsible for feeding them, for basic personal hygiene. He wants the bodies to be found. The conditions under which they're discovered reflect on him as a caretaker. He's returning them to their families so that they can grieve. He's thinking like a parent.
He's got a family?
A family, a job, a mortgage.
Proverbial guy next door.
I don't know. I still like this guy for the jilted lover. Look at these faces. He wants something back that was taken from him.
Couldn't he still be married?
Yeah, but I don't think that revenge would be enough for him to put his family's future at risk.
Well, he's sort of already done that. And talk about pushing the caretaker envelope. Laura's clothes were freshly laundered.
He washed her clothes.
May have kept her naked.
Even if he did, 18 days is a long time for her clothes to keep that fresh, downy feeling.
Sam, if he's refining his methods of abduction, how come we're not seeing more attacks?
Because we don't know what the stressor is, the event in his life that is triggering his need to act on these urges.
George, let's take a look at a schedule of attacks. They may suggest something.
9 victims in 3 years. 3 attacks in '96, 3 in '97, 3 so far this year. In each case, there were 2 attacks, 6 months apart, and a third attack less than a month later.
Even I can do the math on that. 3 series, 3 attacks.
No, not if the first victim, the one he hadn't planned on killing, initiated a series and stands alone. I mean, we're working off a calendar. Who knows what it means to this guy? You know?
So we're looking for a 4th series of attacks. 1, 2, 3. 3.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. We just had a killing, and the last 2 series had a second abduction inside of a month. We could be looking at another victim soon. Grace, what else do we know?
Well, I went back over the protocol, and I found the same ear damage in 6 out of the 9 victims. The 3 that didn't were held only a few days.
Victimology.
All the victims were young, attractive women in their early to mid-20s. No clear direction in their lives, working as food servers, cashiers, all engaged to successful men.
So he kills them so these men can't have them.
No. He's not a killer. He is a rapist who kills. He dominates and controls what he can't control the most, himself. He kills them. He executes them because this cannot come home with him. He cannot get caught.
He won't leave his family without a father.
He's angry. He is torn between duty and desire. He is stuck in an unfulfilling life, and he is filling it with these women.
Welcome to Fat Boy. Can I take your order?
3 kids' meals, a chicken fillet, and a cheeseburger with mustard and olives.
I'm sorry, did you say olives? Sir?
He's back.
Okay, that's gonna be $12.17. Pull up to the window, please.
Hi.
Hi. Honey, will you please turn it down?
Turn it down, turn it down, turn it down, turn it down.
Thank you. How you been?
Same as yesterday.
Stop kicking Daddy's chair. Stop kicking Daddy's chair. Look, here's your hamburger.
It won't be long now, huh?
Sir?
The wedding, right?
Yeah, right. Your burger's on its way.
I hate this place. Why do we have to eat here? I want to go.
Because Mommy's having another baby, and she likes it here.
Mommy likes it here. Mommy wishes she liked rice cakes, but she's already as big as a house, so what the heck? Stop kicking the chair.
Your change?
Eat your hamburger.
It's a nice ring. He must be pretty well off.
Honey, we didn't get our drinks.
You guys taking a honeymoon?
Yeah, Hawaii for a month.
A month? They're gonna let you off work for a month.
You're right, like I'm really gonna come back and work here.
Honey, we're missing Paige's drink.
Forget the drink.
But we paid for the drink.
I said forget the damn drink. You like kids?
We don't.
Nothing like them.
Hello, welcome to Fat Boy. May I take your order?
I'd like a Fat Boy with 11 extra cheese, please.
You'll be very happy. This is a honey. Last one this color, too. Excuse me, 1 second. Be right here.
Service manager, pick up line 3. Service manager, line 3.
You mind? I'm trying to run a business. Hope you're not filling my grandkids up with that noise.
What are you doing with my file?
I sold your GS400 for you.
I was gonna close that deal.
You weren't here. Premier sound package, tinted rear windows, low jack security system.
And you charge double over invoice for the alarm system.
A small price to pay for a sense of security. I don't like keeping a load of 38 in my desk, but I like knowing it's there.
Carl, you have a call on line 4. Carl, line 4.
Why don't you use some of that commission to take my daughter out for a decent meal?
Have you eaten?
Technically, yeah.
Where were you?
Same place you left me a few hours ago. Bothered by the way he leaves them, where they can be found, bathed, fed, and all cleaned up.
The torturing doesn't fit with remorse.
Yeah, I mean, this ear thing is so far outside the profile, I'm beginning to wonder if it wasn't an accident.
It's a pretty consistent accident.
No, I mean incidental, like it's part of some environment that he's created where he can act out his fantasies, part of his arrested development, you know, going to extremes to regain control of his life.
Speaking of, why haven't you signed the lease yet?
I'm in Illinois, when was I gonna do that?
You've heard of faxes? Sam,
I am. I'm planning to.
planning to what?
Planning to take care of any unresolved issues that stand between me and renting a safe, comfortable home for Chloe.
I could take that two ways.
Just two? Really, come on. When Jack was loose, you wanted me to confront me. You made me crawl inside myself so that we could get to the truth. Now what, you just want me to back off?
No, I just don't want you to go see Lucas.
Just walked in the door, baby.
Mommy wants her socks.
Here, babe, I'll get it. What's with all that packing material and cardboard in the recycling bin?
Dad bought new furniture for the baby's room.
What? Oh, hey, how's my little girl? How you doing? Susan, I can buy furniture for my own kids, okay?
Well, it all comes from the same place, so what difference does it make?
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing.
Oh, so it's his dealership, right? So his deals, his cars, so it all comes from the same place?
That is not what I said. Would you throw that in the wash? I gotta get dinner started.
You want me to throw this in? I'll throw this in.
Brett! Brett, stop it! Stop! Honey. Honey, look at me. I know that things didn't turn out the way that you wanted them to, but the band wasn't real. Our family is real. And we have so much to be thankful for. We've got a beautiful home, 3 beautiful daughters, another child on the way. You'll always be my lead guitar.
Hey, what do you say we, Susan, it's been almost 2 months.
Brett, I don't know if it's such a good idea.
Oh, come on. Just not, but maybe there's a little something we can do.
You mean something I can do?
Yeah. What? You all right?
False alarm. I gotta get dinner started.
God's grace.
Did you check for pregnancies?
Always do with rapes. Why?
Laura was a sexually active woman about to get married, but there's no evidence that she was on any kind of birth control.
Well, maybe her boyfriend used something. Or he got fixed. That's easy enough to find out. Oh, yeah. Her estrogen and her pH levels were pretty high. I'd say she was using the pill. I have to check with the medical records, though, to confirm.
Do that and find out about the others. I assume there was semen?
Oh, yeah. As soon as we get a suspect, there'll be lots for us to talk about in court.
All right. Thanks, Grace.
You're welcome to stay, Dad. There's plenty.
I gotta get back. Just wanted to make sure they set up and deliver the furniture okay.
Thanks.
Couldn't even get you a decent ring.
Leave those. I'll get them later. What's with him lately? It's usually like pulling teeth to get him to do the laundry.
Hey, at least he's good for something. Sure can't muster up a grandson.
Tell anybody.
No.
Please.
I washed your clothes. You had some very nasty stains, Kristen.
What do you want from me?
Shh, no, Kristen, it's not what do you want. It's may I take your order. Come on, try it. May I take your order?
May I take your order?
May I please 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 take your order?
Maybe later, huh? I gotta go throw some Downy in the wash. Shh, shh, shh.
Abduction is about dominance and control. What our subject can't get at home, he creates. He produces a world in which he is the master. He rejects his otherwise normal life for a fantasy of seduction and power.
So where's all this caretaking coming from?
Well, he knows how to caretake, how to provide, but there's no feeling behind it. I mean, what emotion he does have, he expresses through rage. His victims are an instrument of that rage. It's a way to take back something that he's lost.
We may have another one.
Looks like he's tied to me.
Fiance went to pick her up at work. The manager said she went on break and never came back.
And when they get to be too much trouble, he gets rid of them. They're pregnant.
I did a pregnancy test, Sam. They all tested negative.
No. Not the victims. He is. His wife.
That's the stressor.
Do you know what it takes to keep a human being captive? To feed them, bathe them, change them. They can't do anything for themselves. It's like having a baby. It's right here, George's paradigm. Each series of attacks coincides with a pregnancy. The first one when she tells him that she's pregnant, and then 2 more 6 months later as she gets closer to her due date. Time in between must be remorse and wind down.
So the first victim was the 4th series, a series of 1, because he hadn't planned on killing him.
No, he had to. He had just become a new father. You couldn't risk getting caught.
1, 2, 3, 4 series of attacks. The last series coming here 6 months ago. And he just grabbed another one.
Which means that she's pregnant and due now. Grace, you said that toxicology turned up birth control pills in Laura Jordan.
That's what her pH level suggested, but it turns out that she wasn't taking birth control pills. She used a diaphragm.
Right, he was giving them to them. He was giving them all birth control pills because he knew he had to kill them. And the caretaker in him couldn't stand to hurt an innocent child.
That's it. That's the profile. We're looking for a child of your family with 3 kids, another one due any minute.
Baby, push. That's my girl, baby.
There's no one, Susan.
Come on. Push. That's my girl, baby. Come on. This is the one. Push, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, sir. Come on. You got it. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I see the head.
Girl. Come on, baby. Push it. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on. Push it.
It's a girl. A beautiful baby girl.
There you go. Oh. Good job. Good job. Like to cut the cord?
Easy. It's not like you haven't done this before.
There we are.
Nice job, Susan.
Good girl. You did great.
She's beautiful. She's so beautiful.
I think I got a name.
Well, you guys have been high-speeding through hours of security tapes. I tracked them down.
Brett and Susan Moss. 3 births in 4 years, all delivered at St. Joseph Memorial Hospital.
Smack bang in the middle of the zone.
Are they pregnant now?
Mm-hmm. Their due date was the 18th, 2 days ago.
That's it.
Rewind the tape. Now switch the camera too.
Here's Moss's DMV photo.
Wow, that is him.
Get an address.
I've got it.
What time did he call?
Baby was born about 11:30 this morning. He called right after.
He's not at the hospital.
Did he tell you where he was going?
He just said he was going to make some calls, drive around, clear his head. They were both up all night. And
Is he a musician?
if you could call it that, he sure couldn't live like this if that's how he had to make his living.
Where does he rehearse?
I don't know, honey.
Wow. I guess that fills in some blanks.
Not the one I want, which is where the hell this guy is.
I noticed the 38 is missing from my office.
What does he drive?
His car's still out front. He must have taken a Suburban.
You have no idea where he went?
No.
You didn't want to do that, baby.
His low jack signal ends here.
11-889, copy.
There it is. Lieutenant?
Yeah.
I want backup. Now.
Stop it!
You okay? You all right? I want you to stay right here. You got me?
Yeah.
Drop it! Now!
Bring me down. 10 more feet.
Don't you move! Don't move! I got him!
You're safe now. I think I hate these guys worst of all. Predators living in our neighborhoods. Living right in our own backyards. It's probably not what you want to hear right now.
Maybe I should look for a place in a bad neighborhood, save a few bucks.
Sam, if you go to him, you're giving him what he wants. You're giving him the power.
That's a man's argument, Bailey. I don't need to be right. I need to understand. There are things that I have to know before this can ever really be over.
Don't pass anything through the bars. Stay to the left. You have 15 minutes. Next corridor, please.
Well, what do you know? I was just thinking about you. How have you been? How's tricks? Love what you've done with your hair. Me? I'm taking the MSTAT review over the internet. You can't believe the nuts on that thing. I always wanted to teach, mold young minds. Oh, don't worry, they monitor it pretty closely, so I can only log on for 15 minutes a day, which is fine because it's all I really have the patience for anymore anyway.
Why me?
Did you say something? Don't you think you're worthy, Sam? Funny, I don't seem to remember you having self-esteem issues before. Has something happened? Something recent? Have you suffered some great loss in your life? Well, I've had an epiphany, Sam. Actually, I've had two. One yesterday just after lunch and another one first thing this morning. I've done some very bad things. But I guess you knew that. Not that I regret them. Living with regret, well, that's no way to live, as you know.
You love me because you think that I'm like you, but you're wrong.
Oh, but Sam, I'm not. That thing you do, that they pay you to do, that you take money to do, well, what you look at in your mind, I've already seen. Where you go to in your heart, I've already been. Nobody else can do that, Sam.